Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, collectors of all ages, welcome back to Aussieverse, episode 23 of the live chats. OmniBeau talking right now, joined by Mark, Grodd, Watson, Sharif, and Ryan. If I can point over there, I don't know what I'm pointing at. Team.
Oh yeah. How is it still bright outside your windows? I'm not black.
Are you sure you're in Queensland?
Sunny state.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are enjoying the show, and even if you're not, support the channel, like and subscribe, because we are getting so close to that 400 subscriber giveaway, where one lucky winner will be getting a $100 Amazon gift card to be able to buy whatever the hell they want. And if you have suggestions for the show, questions, critiques, anything that you can think of, please hit us up on Instagram at Aussieverse_comics_collectors, where you can also check out our graphic designer that does all of our thumbnails and editing, A51_designs. I think that's all the plug-in, is it?
Yeah. Just off the bat, we got to address this comment that's here about that DC crap you're wearing, Bo. First off, that's amazing. What are you on about?
Yeah, I'm MadSpidey.
DC crap off, Bo. Hey, lanterns are not DC crap, okay?
No.
There's a lot of crap in DC, but not the lanterns. Facebook user, thumb up back at you. And whoever this is, yo! Alrighty. So, let's get down to some loving, shall we, boys?
What's on tonight?
Well, as the heading suggests, New York Comic Con, Werewolves, and the DD Walk of Shame. If you don't know what we're talking about, you will by the end of this episode. Who wants to start off with New York Comic Con?
I didn't go. I didn't go.
I heard it's an event that happens in New York every year.
You'd be correct. Yes. It's become so popular, they've started to have them in most states, actually.
Yes, indeed. And DC is killing it right now by Mark the Cutter Shah. Yes.
Mark the Cutter Sark. Thank you for joining us. I love that profile pic you got there. It's a great cover.
It was just a lot of book announcements, so a lot of title announcements. A few, we'll go through a few of them, but yeah, it was Marvel and DC got a few events coming up, and well, I guess you can say same old, but it's still exciting.
Yeah, yeah, it always is, because I forget you have San Diego Comic-Con. That was when? Somebody give me an answer here. All right, we'll say a couple of months ago. And then you have D23, the Disney one. And then you have the New York Comic. There's just so much news all in the space of like 3 months.
Yeah, and you had that D23, wasn't it, as well, in between there?
Yep, that's the Disney one. Yeah.
Yeah, the Disney one, yeah.
What's the controversy at Artist Alley? We'll wait for him to type the answer.
Well, as long as no one was just stapling covers to books this time, I think we're in good hands.
Oh, really?
The acetate gate.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man. No, that's one. But the other thing was that booth had a lot of well, this is not NYCC, but had a lot of YouTube channel people just cutting queues.
I am going to bring Spidey in because he has news for us. While he gets on board, what's the most exciting bit of news that each of you heard?
Well, there was the symbiotes. Apparently, so that's going to be an event. So it's going to be Venom and Carnage, 2 books combining together.
Yep.
So I'm quite enjoying Carnage at the moment. I'm not doing the monthly Venom, but I did read the first trade of it, and it was good as well. So both done by Ran V and Al Ewing. So I reckon that's in pretty good hands. I didn't read what the description is. I just saw the title. It looks cool, man. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to because I'm enjoying Carnage so much.
Yeah.
Mark actually told me about it yesterday. It was that Williamson Joshua Williamson, he's taking over Superman.
Yeah. Definitely had that one. No, that's great.
He's essentially in the architect role with the DC Universe at the moment, and now he's on what is considered their flagship book.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what he does with it. I think it's going to suit Williamson's writing because he's very upbeat and because he was really good with the Flash. So I think it's in good hands. So obviously Tom Taylor run is ending of John Kent, and but it's going to do a little mini off of that. What was it called again, Ryan? Do you remember?
John Kent Adventures of Superman. Adventures of Superman, John Kent. Something along those lines.
But yeah, that's just going to be a mini. So yeah, then Williamson's going to take over Superman, and we have Lazarus Planet is going to be the next DC sort of event. It's going to be weekly, and I think it started in January.
What's that?
Yeah. So apparently it's going to be a volcano erupt of Lazarus residue. So it's going to, I don't know what it's going to do. It's going to maybe bring people back to life, or it's going to. So and it's headlined by Mark Waid, who has recently started to write a bit more for DC now. So it's obviously DC have brought him over, and he's started to be, like Ryan said then, he's almost going to be the new architect with Joshua Williamson at the moment for DC because he's starting to write a few more books and he's going to write this next event that's going to set things up after Dark Crisis finishes in December. So, yeah, exciting things for DC.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that even sounds interesting for me. I love all that sort of stuff. Spidey, I sent you the link on Facebook if you want to take a look.
Yeah. So
if Lazarus is going to be weekly, that's going to full run of 52 issues?
No, it's only going for 2 months. So it's going to be 8 issues, I think. So it's only going for 2 months, but it's going to be weekly. We might as well, on the topic of new titles, explain to me about Bloodline, you guys. I haven't read anything about Bloodline. I haven't read that much Blade, but Bloodline's getting a new limited series. It's Blade's daughter.
Oh, right. Yeah, I knew about Blade's daughter, but I didn't actually know it was called Bloodline. I thought it was called Daughter of Blade.
Oh, okay. Is that her name, Bloodline? Because I heard her name is Bloodline. So
I've never even seen her before. I don't know.
I saw the picture in the description, but yeah, that was apparently it's going to sort of it's only going to be a limited series, but maybe they're trying to get her into this sort of genre of Blade and Midnight Suns and who knows.
I'm pretty sure Bloodline was an old DC crossover story.
The annual crossover, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that sounded familiar.
The thing I find interesting about this is they've been trying to get Blade to have a daughter for a long time. Like they announced a book many, many years ago written by Tim Seeley that was going to be about Blade and his daughter.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, it was meant to come out a long time ago in the article that I shared on Aussieverse, yeah. I don't know why it didn't. The one that I'm looking forward to, other than the symbiotes, because yeah, that was definitely the main one, is this Sins of Sinister or whatever it's called. It looks like a new Age of Apocalypse. So I'm hoping it's not just a copy of that, but they're bringing out some new titles like Immoral X-Men, Night Crawlers. There's 3 or 4 new titles that are coming out.
Storm and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Yeah, I think that was one too. Yep. And there might be just one more.
I think Gambit and Rogue are supposed to be getting a title together as well. That was another one.
Oh, they're
Yep,
always.
that was announced. I saw that today.
Yeah, which sounds very interesting. So
Captain
I remember-
Britain as well.
yeah,
Captain
I heard that one too. Yeah.
Really? I didn't hear that. No. Yeah, right. That is...
And then X-23 is also getting another book.
Yeah.
Oh, is it going to be called X-23 or like
Yeah.
Wolverine? Or...
It was
Oh.
called like X-23 Regenesis.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hmm.
Where's all
So,
this
I'm
news? I'm not
curious.
seeing it.
If it's
Oh, because
about
it's
something that happened in the Jonathan Hickman run of X-Men, where something interesting happens to X-23.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I'll be finding that out pretty soon.
Are you guys up to date with Teen Titans, the TV show?
I
'Cause
am.
you are, because I'm not. I don't even think I started the second season, but there's they released a snippet of the next season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
as
it's gonna be... Sorry, go, Shreve.
yeah. I think I'm done with season 2. I think so. Is that the one that Nightwing and Deathstroke
Yes,
and Rose? Yeah.
Yeah, because I was really digging it the first season, but then when Batman came on, it just, I don't know, it really kind of turned me off the show a little.
What's wrong with that, chum?
Which is weird because I really liked that actor in Game of Thrones. He was great,
Yeah.
but he's not Batman, man. I don't think it's really enough to turn you off a show, but it seemed to do that to me. But I will go back.
You always picture him as Alfred. He looks like an Alfred.
Yeah, right?
Mm.
Exactly.
So, yeah, and then Trigon in the last episode rocks up. I mean, like, you should have a bit more of a build up for Trigon.
Oh, at the end of season 2.
One.
Oh God, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, he rocks up.
Dude, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was really good.
Yeah. So, and then season 3's, it's Scarecrow, Jason Todd, sort of being the villains, and it was okay. I liked the dude that played Scarecrow; it was pretty cool. But yeah, then it got really, I don't know. I don't know what happened. It just, for some reason, it's just okay, but it's not amazing. So it just like you guys have done, you just stop if it's not amazing.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, you don't have anything bad to say. Like, I'm not going to say it's terrible. It's good. But these days, with so many options, if it's not great, you're not going to keep watching it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I've always thought of the Titans TV show as like, what if a 13-year-old designed the DC universe? Just edgy for edgy's sake.
Yeah.
Mm.
I agree. There was a few like storylines in season 3, and it just wasn't hitting. There was the Starfire sister, Blackfire.
Blackfire.
Yeah, and that just, like, I don't know if it was the actors' chemistry. You just weren't feeling it as the sister vibe, and yeah.
Plus, I kind of got sick of seeing Beast Boy as only a tiger.
Yeah.
Does he become other animals in the show?
Well, the
Yeah.
season 3 becomes a massive bat.
10 years later, I could see the link on my phone, but I couldn't see it on my bloody laptop. I don't know what the fuck went on.
So what's this controversy you were talking about? Tell us so we can hear it and then kick you out.
Oh, I have. Anybody heard what happened with Peach Momoko?
No.
No.
No, obviously not. So basically what happened is that we don't know 100% the full story, but from what we know from guys have lined up for Peach was that she was signing books and everything, like as they do in Artist Alley. They were basically told that she wasn't doing any sketching at the show besides remarks on books and things like that. She was limiting to 100 remarks only, and that was it. Now, what had happened is obviously people had queued up for hours upon end. And then somebody had found like all these VIPs, obviously with the VIP tickets and things like that. Basically, we're obviously going in front of the line because you pay for that. But a lot of them got taken up by the vendors as well. And a lot of people in the queue that have been waiting for hours and hours and hours got wind of this. And basically a fight broke out and a lot of swearing and a lot of disgruntled people. It ended up with Peach Momoko going under her table and crying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I would say the be-all and end-all of that is most likely she'll either never do New York Comic Con again, or worst case scenario, she might not even do any American cons anymore.
Wow.
Well, that's not something you get over anytime soon.
Yeah, that's because she's a very quiet, introverted person, like naturally. She's not a very...
Australians are not like that.
Yeah.
So please feel free to come to Australian Comic Cons where we'll treat you with nothing but respect and love.
100%.
Take you out and get you drunk and see how funny you are. But yeah, there was like a few of the fellow YouTubers were in those lines, and that's why I've sort of found out a lot bit about this stuff. It has been publicized as well, but they've tried to keep it quiet. But no, when you got YouTubers and influencers at one of the biggest cons of the year, probably second to San Diego, then people are going to find out.
Yeah.
Oh man, actually, it's funny. It sounds shocking that it's happened, but when you really think about it, I don't know if this is my cynicism coming through, but it's surprising that stories like this, maybe not violent ones, but these sorts of things don't happen more often when there's thousands and thousands of people and personalities, and it's a testament to the collective people out there, the nerds and the geeks, that this shit doesn't happen very often.
And that's the problem with the big conventions over in the States, is that all the vendors, the people that get in early, they're actually, got booths or setting up and stuff like that. They fill it, especially in New York Comic Con, because there's been a few Aussies I know that have been. A lot of these commission lists and signature lists and all that sort of stuff, the lists fill up before the show even opens.
Yeah.
And that's probably and that's what happened with, that's how this acetate gate stuff started at C2E2 in Chicago. Because a lot of the vendors and all these whatnot people and things like that got into the line before anybody else, and they didn't put a limit on the book, which they supposed to have. They do, like every other retailer puts limits on books, especially there's con exclusives. They usually say, okay, 5 per person max or 10 per person, and they all just went absolutely nuts, and people were buying 80 and 100 copies and things like that, and it all went to shit from there.
It's just all a build-up of frustration, wouldn't it? And it just slowly just boils and boils. And like you said, Bo, it's quite surprising that it doesn't happen as often, because whenever you get big crowds these days, frustration just kicks in because it's just the way society is.
And you can imagine being in a line for 3 or 4 hours, then all of a sudden somebody yelling out, oh, she's only doing this or she's only doing that. And then all these people are, jumping in front of the lines basically because they're either a vendor or they got VIP passes.
Exactly.
You've been waiting for hours, and I'd be the same. I'd be like, what the f- going on?
Yeah, I would say something. Yeah, I'd say something, but I don't know if I'd do anything. But there would be the person that would do something. So
I wouldn't get verbal or physically abusive. No, I'd be just be like, what the hell?
Yeah. It's funny. I put myself in their shoes. If it was like Mark Bagley or Del Otto or somebody that I loved, I'd be pretty upset.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Especially you put so much time into it. I mean, like, you're not getting those 3 hours back and for nothing.
And that's right.
Oh, Sharif, did you hear any news that got you excited about New York Comic Con, or did we talk about it all the stuff you heard?
I will be like our viewers who have not heard anything, and I will act surprised with them. So I'm just geeking out right now. Just bits and pieces, stuff that we are discussing right now.
Yep.
So you
Well, I
discussed,
know that
you discussed the Rock's view on Henry Cavill's Superman.
No. I'm really sick of hearing that. I just want it to happen. Like, I had this in my notes. I'm sick of hearing Henry Cavill might be on it. If The Rock farts and it sounds like Henry Cavill, people are going to jump to it.
Apparently, The Rock has publicly said that Henry Cavill needs to stay Superman.
Yeah, well, that's
good.
Given. That's
I'd heard a
I can
rumor
say that too.
that,
He needs to be Superman.
I'd heard a rumor recently through one of the big trades that apparently he muscled a deal where he got a cameo for Cavill in Black Adam, as well as they're developing a sequel to Man of Steel.
That
was
would be
part of
amazing.
the stuff that I was where he came out publicly and said it pretty much. So that's the rumor that there is going to be a small cameo of Superman, and it is Henry Cavill in Black Adam. But whether it's an after credit scene or what, only time will tell.
Just as long as the shot is not just here.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Not like in Peacemaker where it's all just in the dark.
Look,
or
I
Shazam, you just see the shoulder down.
I hope with all my heart it's true. Look, but I'm now at the situation where I've heard it that often. I'm just going to wait. We've got 2 weeks to Black Adam, a week and a half. Please, it'll be awesome if he's in it. If he's in it, then I'm in. I'll believe it all now.
Yeah. Well, I know there's another bit of news that we haven't spoken about that Ryan's really happy with. So what was that announcement, Ryan?
It's me, Mario.
The
Mario movie had a trailer come out over last week. We finally got to hear Chris Pratt as Mario. Can't believe that he hyped everyone up on his voice just for it to be his normal voice.
Yeah, when I heard it was Chris Pratt, I was like, how is he going to pull off Mario?
Animated.
Oh, okay.
It looks good.
The cast is stacked as well.
Yeah. The animation looks really good.
Hoskins as Mario.
What was that?
You can't go past Bob Hoskins as Mario.
Like the animation model for Mario as well. It even kind of looks like Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Jack Black as Bowser as well.
Who's
Perfect
Bowser?
casting.
Who's Bowser?
Jack Black.
Are you kidding? Really?
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, I've got to watch this trailer again because I did.
And then you've got Keegan Michael Key as Toad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
Is it going to be? Are they going to Mario Kart, or is it just going to be Mario?
It'll just be Mario.
I want to race.
Surprisingly, was Luigi in the trailer?
At the very end, but
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I imagined that or not because I couldn't really remember it properly. But yeah, still, I reckon it's going to be good. It's definitely going to be better than the original Mario movie.
Come on, the original's a classic.
Oh, yeah. It was
Classic piece of.
It falls into the category of it's so bad, it's so good.
Yeah. It's up there. It's up there with the Double Dragon movie, Mortal Kombat 2, and Street Fighter.
Street Fighter.
Classics.
Did any of you watch or see the Black Panther 2 new trailer? Oh, that dropped.
Oh,
There is a lot to unpack in that one.
Wow. Start us off, Sharif. What are you going to unpack?
Well, I got to be honest. I watched it 2 minutes just after I woke up, and I woke up. Let me try to remember.
I'll tell you what excited me: Namor with the wings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. I can't
They've
wait.
kept that very traditional. I don't know whether I'm liking the Aztec style suits though, because it's not very. It's very left field.
Are you saying it's not Atlantean in your experience?
Yes, that's correct. I've been down there, and it doesn't look anything like their suits. No.
Look, I would have preferred something more traditional for the Atlanteans, but since Aquaman came out as a movie first and had to differentiate it, I'll take it.
Exactly. I just want to know how they're going to explain the passing of Black Panther. That's what I'm trying to know, how they do that in the movie. Like, you know, they've killed him off in the universe because of what happened in real life, but how they're going to explain, I'm fascinated to know how they're going to do that.
Whether they go into detail, because obviously you've seen, like in the original trailer, they had the mural on the side of the wall.
It still does in the new one.
Yeah. So whether they go into detail or not, or whether they just like, you know, the king's got to pass on the mantle or something like that, or whether they just sort of brush over and don't get into specifics or not, which is probably not a bad idea because you don't want to sort of not necessarily, you know, sort of tread on Chadwick Boseman's sort of, you know, history or anything like that, but it's more, you probably might not need to necessarily go into detail. You might be just like, okay, yep, the king is, you know, no longer with us. This is who the new Black Panther is, sort of thing. So they might brush over it altogether.
Yeah, you think they'll start off the movie with it, won't they? They'll sort of start off going, "Oh, the funeral, or whatever, the wake of it all," and then I'm going to do a hot take. I reckon M'Baku's going to die in this.
Sorry, who?
M'Baku.
Oh,
I got a feeling they're going to kill him off. I think you got to raise the stakes here. Why is it going to be a war between Atlanteans and Wakanda?
Yeah.
I'll go the complete opposite direction. I think they'll kill Queen Ramonda.
Okay. Yeah, well, okay. Didn't they have nobody besides Shuri?
Are we putting money on the fact that it's Shuri as Black Panther? Like, is that just a given? Or are they...
I think they get... It's right, Sharif, go.
Yeah, I think it's the last second or last 2 seconds in the trailer, which I thought, is that a female figure there that I saw?
Oh, there was boobs.
It was.
There might be men,
right.
They're very skinny too, so which makes me think it's Shuri.
Yeah. I know one of the original rumors was they were going to try and bring back Killmonger and make him the new Black Panther, but I think everybody sort of went, no, like he's dead. Shuri's got to take the mantle, and I think that's the way they are going with it.
He could still be in this movie though, because let's say Shuri finds a way to have the heart-shaped herb, like a synthetic version, goes to the ancestral plane. That's who she could say.
It's exactly what I was going to say, Ryan. Like, I reckon Michael B. Jordan's going to be in it. I think it's going to be, you know, when you take it and you go to that spiritual and you see somebody that's going to give you guidance, it could be Killmonger.
Where's the secret stash going to come from, saying they burnt it all in the first movie? And they got one to the original Black Panther.
No, there'll be and I have one seed here that I can.
Yeah.
You know.
It'll be in that top cupboard that you couldn't reach.
In between the couch cushions.
Got a ladder. Yeah. Someone flipped that mattress over. There it is.
Yeah. All right. Very, very excited for that. And let's move on, as SimpleSimon has given us a good segue into She-Hulk. I've got lots of thoughts here. Does anybody else want to go first before I ramble?
Nah, fire away, mate.
All right. So, as we all know, because most people have said the same thing, they've enjoyed She-Hulk, but there's a lot of criticism with the flow of the show. Like, there's no big baddie. It seems to be just Ally McBeal, but with superheroes. You know what annoys me? Because I've actually enjoyed the whole thing. But what's annoyed me is the representation of the Wrecker, because that was nothing like the Wrecker whatsoever.
Well, the whole wrecking crew.
Well, yeah, but you hardly got to see the rest of them. But especially the Wrecker, because in the last episode before this one, he was in it a lot. And yeah, that is nothing like the Wrecker at all. But also Titania, like, what was the use of her? Titania is nothing like that either. She's not this beauty glamazon woman, you know. But in saying that, look, you know, like MadSpidey said to me months and months ago, and he's right, you can't tailor it to us. You've got to tailor it to the rest of the world. So you got to get over it. And when I do, hey,
Hollywoodization, as I've
and I've enjoyed it. I think it's a good show, especially this episode, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I think
probably the best episode that they've had so far, only because of more, I suppose, like, you know, the fan service with having Daredevil in it. I don't know why they put Leapfrog in there, where he's like an F-list baddie.
That's why.
Yeah. But at least I am looking forward to, we did see a little glimpse of a bit of sort of reversion back to Savage She-Hulk.
Savage.
Which I was a little bit excited for. And then she was like, yeah, I'm you know, I'll put my hands up now. And it's like, oh, we saw like about 5 seconds of it, and that was enough. And
yeah.
Woman's just in a rough spot. She got her nudes leaked, and then she's like, well, I want to hit some shit.
yeah, screw it.
I actually really liked having Leapfrog in there because, you know, Spidey, when you're an old school Spidey reader, you know, Leapfrog, there's what do they call them? The Legion of Losers?
Yes. There's been so many groups, especially in Spidey comics, you can't get up to them all.
You know, Spot, Leapfrog, you know, all these D-list villains, you know. So it was good to see a D-list villain that I really liked, as opposed to like Man-Bull and Porcupine that was in the other ones, you know. But yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. Now, so Daredevil, huh? What did you think of the costume?
Well, another fan service.
Mustard tomato.
Yeah. It was okay. I still like when he was in the dark room and fighting all the goons. That was cool because it looked more like a devil. Look, I don't mind going back to the nostalgic time, but yeah, I like the red suit.
I wanted to say the Daredevil suit. That would have been cool.
Yeah, with the D&D on it, that'd be great.
Yeah,
I like the red more, but I think the yellow and red did look good in motion.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I was really surprised they went with a mix. You know, I thought if they're going to do yellow, why not just do the yellow properly? You know,
and make it yellow because it was very faded, wasn't it? And in the darkness, it really didn't look yellow.
Yeah. I think that's also because yellow costumes on screen really don't look good, which is why you've never seen Wolverine, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't tell what colour the suit was.
Because he's colourblind.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Right. Poor guy, jeez. It was pink and purple. So I ended up, Claudia went to bed early the night that it debuted, and usually I wait. I can wait and watch the new Marvel things with her. But when I heard Daredevil was in it, I sneakily watched it and said, you know, she doesn't have to know. I'll watch it for the first time with her. And when what happened, I turned around and I'm like, we're waiting for the tram. And I'm like, you know what happened in Daredevil last night? She goes, what? And I've gone, She-Hulk stopped Daredevil. And she goes, no, they didn't. I've gone, yep. And then he did the walk of shame. And she goes, you're making this up. I've gone, Google it. And she's like, no, I know you. You're full of shit. You're just trying to get a reaction out of me. And I'm like, okay. And then we watched. I'm like, I told ya. I told ya.
Well, technically, she's not wrong. I mean, like, you're full of shit and you're.
But that was hilarious, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you usually see the character at night and early in the morning.
Yeah.
Man,
And,
if you can't see the yellow, then you can now.
I actually felt like it was pretty good chemistry. Like we know Charlie Cox is a good actor, but even that bit at the bar where they make a bit of a joke about him being blind, and he goes, "I'm wearing pants, aren't I?" Stuff like that. I cackled out loud. That was quite charming.
Yeah.
I saw a really good meme that came out of this episode, and it's Daredevil talking to She-Hulk just on the advertisement, and then it says, maybe next time I'm in town I can take you out to dinner, and then it's just the logo for Daredevil Born Again, and it switches out Born Again with Bone Again.
The one that I liked that was simple was shows them making out going into the room, and the next scene is obviously from the old Daredevil show with him in bandages just lying on the bed.
I also noticed, so the new theme that they had for Daredevil in the She-Hulk show, it's just an electronic version of the Netflix theme, just sped up.
Oh, really? I thought it was the exact same. They like the 5 seconds.
No, because there's the one when he first shows up where it's like, and yeah, if you slow that down, it's just the Netflix theme as well.
Hang on, what was that sound again? Thank you. Yep. Okay, I'll have to go back and watch that now.
One more time, people. But I think the other reason why they went the yellow suit is because they didn't want to go, this is the Netflix Daredevil. Yeah. They wanted to sort of segregate it and say, no, this is the MCU Daredevil.
Well, see, that's the thing. Sorry, Mark. It is meant to be the same one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
even references the show in the episode.
A little bit of a differentiate between the two.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, the Netflix version is on Disney Plus now. But they still wanted to sort of, originally, they wanted to differentiate between the two.
Yeah.
As they should be, because both of them are totally different.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And they're just preparing it for us, I guess. This is a good test of what we know, what we're going to get. So, a bit more colourful, which is, as you said, could be a good explanation for the suit to let us realise this is not going to be as dark as, and literally, the suit's not going to be as dark. So,
the characterization they had for Daredevil as well, it was 1-to-1 from what was on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard they're bringing back that actor as Foggy as well. So that's another bit of news as well.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I just see him as one of the Bash brothers from the Mighty Ducks movies.
Yeah. Fulton, wasn't he? He was Fulton.
Yeah, Fulton Reed. That's right.
Yeah. He could hit the big slap shot, but he couldn't skate.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the new Mighty Ducks show that's on Disney that came out last year?
I did.
Yeah. I watched the first season. It was all right. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Like, there was a bit of fan service in there, but it was pretty much a new story altogether.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad, actually.
Is Emilio Estevez in it? Yeah.
Yeah,
surprisingly,
he got canned for the second season. Something to do with he didn't want to get another one of those guys didn't want to get vaccinated or something like that. And so I think it's Josh Duhamel in it now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, I was surprised. I thought he was just going to do a cameo, but he's in the whole season. He's the main lead again. Like, he just...
Yeah, I'm not... I know that there was some trouble with Emilio Estevez, and that's why they couldn't get him back. So I thought it was going to get canned altogether, but then they brought in Josh Duhamel as well, so...
Yeah. So yeah, it was it's very heartwarming. Like it's just
it's like the movie.
Yeah, and it's very predictable, but it's still fun to watch. It really brings up your spirits. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've never watched the movies, so with the series, for me it just smells Cobra Kai. I don't know.
Jeez, Bo, cut him off. Never seen the movies. Come on.
Cobra Kai is awesome.
Yeah.
I freaking love that show.
Have you talked about Werewolf yet?
What was that?
Have you talked about Werewolf yet?
That was exactly where I was going with that. Werewolf by night, yeah. Well, Spidey, bring it. You brought it up, mate. What did you think?
I actually really enjoyed it. A lot of people bagged it and said, "Oh, it was like a very low budget, crappy version of of the the original monster creature feature stuffs from the like the black and white days and stuff like that." Like the first thing I noticed actually was the lighting. Like when they walked into that big room, I just thought the lighting was just so well done. Even in the maze area and things like that, I think it was really. And I loved Man-Thing.
Yeah,
Man-Thing was fucking awesome.
Yeah. Sharif, you seen it?
Not yet.
No. Okay, now kicking you out, Ryan.
Without getting too into it, I suppose, I found it really refreshing.
Yeah.
Like it felt a lot like Phase 1 in a very good way, I suppose.
I've heard so many weird critiques of it. I wish it was 15 minutes longer. That's the weirdest one that I've heard.
That's very specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually really liked it. Look, I'm not massive into the Marvel Universe. I know the bases, and I'm just sort of diving more into it these days, comics-wise. So I don't know much about Man-Thing. I know he's like Swamp Thing's my favorite DC character, so I know he's very similar to that. Like look-wise, I don't know if story-wise or whatever, but and also too, I like a little bit of sort of the darkness, horrorness. That's what I like of the DC side. So this sort of shows this, and I really loved it. I did. I agree that I was hoping it was a bit longer. They did wrap it up pretty quickly, but I think it's good time still too, though. If you drag it out much more, maybe it does lose momentum a little bit. But yeah, 15 minutes would have been nice, as you said, Bo, as that person said. But
I think the only thing you need to know about Man-Thing, and even then you don't really need to know it, is that if you show fear, you burn at his touch, which is why things were
right.
So
that explains pretty much everything about Man-Thing.
There is more to Man-Thing, but I don't think that you need to. Sorry, Spider.
Yeah, he's similar in the way of sort of similar in the way came about origin wise to Swamp Thing, but obviously same sort of nature style sort of thing, like trying to protect nature and things like that. But as Bo said, that's probably the main difference. Is that Swamp Thing obviously uses the the flora around him. Man-Thing is more about actually, if you fear him, it will literally disintegrate you.
Oh, and Man-Thing doesn't talk either, where Swamp Thing obviously does.
Yeah.
And
Man-Thing also has just a giant scrotum hanging off of his face, as opposed to the Swamp Thing.
I did notice too, talking about the movie, I did one thing that maybe I still loved it. It's just not even a thing that I disliked about it, but I just wanted to see more of the hunt, of the hunters go out and hunt. You didn't really see much of that, but you can always go back to it, whatever. We got what we got, and I still enjoyed it, but I would have liked to see more of that. If I had one thing to pick, it's not even a thing that I care that much about.
Yeah. one other thing that I liked about it as well is that Elsa Bloodstone has always got this. She in the comics she has this like long red leather jacket, and you're watching it the whole time. It's obviously black and white, and by the time you get to the color part, you forget, or I forgot, she wears this red leather jacket, and then it goes to color and it's a red leather jacket. I'm like, it's just like the comics, yeah. Elsa.
There was a little Easter egg in the cave paintings, though.
Yeah.
Or not the cave paintings, but the wall paintings.
Hmm.
I'll let people Google that to find that out. But
I was going to say it, but yeah, right.
The only thing I'd wanted to see was some little Easter, like a Blade Easter egg would have been nice.
Yeah, that's true actually. And
not necessarily Man Thing, but Werewolf, very entangled, with Blade and Dracula and all that sort of stuff. So some sort of Easter egg of that would have been nice, but
to be honest, I would have put money on Moon Knight being in it.
That's just what I was about to say. Moon Knight's tied heavily to him, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a werewolf, yeah. Not necessarily Man Thing either. Man Thing feels really only sort of. He's been in a lot of team up books, like a lot of the old Marvel 2-in-1s and team ups and things like that, especially with Spidey, which I see as more like oil and water, but very in like story wise, like his actual main sort of arcs. Maybe Werewolf is probably the main one that he gets tied up with. He doesn't necessarily. He's more of a solo sort of character more than anything else.
In fact, from memory, the last solo Man Thing series, well, it was a mini, was actually written by R.L. Stein.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it came out about maybe 4 years ago now.
Mm.
It feels weird to me that Blade was cast almost 4 years ago at this point.
Wow.
And he still has not physically shown up on screen.
Yeah.
Only the boys.
Yeah, they've barely even got production out of, like, they've barely started shooting as well.
Well, they sacked the director.
Yeah, like it's a shambles. Like,
and that's I'm because I'm excited because I'm a big Blade fan, and as soon as I'm like, director's got sacked, and I can never pronounce his name. What's his name? Mahershala Ali or whatever. I can never.
Yeah.
That dude. He has basically said that the script is crap. There's not enough action. He knows I want the whole thing rewritten, and there's massive delay in it now.
Yeah, he's being quite difficult. I heard that.
We see him.
Wow, there's many different ways you could go down with that. Like, is that egotistical or is he right? Like, we're never gonna know.
No, and that's the thing. It's maybe, well, they wouldn't even put it in special features because it's just a dark history part of the making of the movie. So that they won't want to, they'll say, this has been sacked, this has been changed, but they won't say why. But
then again, as well, they did the same thing with Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and I still think that came out pretty damn good.
Yeah, but they didn't do that like a month before shooting.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
And they did it for, I guess, similar reasons, because they thought that was he had too much of a horror theme for the Doctor Strange, and they wanted to tone it down, which they got Sam Raimi, which doesn't make any sense because he's kind of a horror movie guy. But
yeah, but at least with Sam Raimi, even though what you've said is 100% correct, he's also been able to do the humor horror sort of genre, and obviously Spider-Man. So he's proven that he's not just a one-trick pony.
Yeah, and plus that means we get Sam Raimi, we get Bruce Campbell. So
Sam Raimi is supposed to be the Blade director now.
Oh, is it? Ooh.
Yeah.
Well then, cool. He's going to have probably a lot of blood then.
Like it should do.
Yeah.
Bring back Wesley Snipes.
And he still looks good. He can do it.
He could, but if you paid him, you'd know he'd keep every single dollar and not do the taxes. That's the problem.
I did hear an interview because he's writing a comic at the moment, Wesley Snipes.
Oh, okay.
Not 100% sure, but it was in an interview on Absolute Comics, Bo, which you listen to that podcast sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And apparently, he's been trying to get Blade. He wants to play Blade again. So,
yeah. He's always said that.
Yeah.
You could do an old man Blade and like old man Logan and old man Hawkeye, and then you could do an old man Blade.
Yeah. Just have it like an afterworld sort of movie. Have it on its own, not on the MCU. And
how good would it be if after the Blade movie, the after credit scene is like old man Blade comes through a portal and he's like, "Oh, you gotta come with me. I'm you, vampires." Yeah. And they go.
And then somehow I shrank a foot. Wesley Snipes quite shorter.
I've always thought it would be really easy to just retroactively go, no, those old Blade movies, they're just a part of the MCU.
Well, yeah, now you can for sure.
Yeah.
After, actually, that brings us to the last topic. After Deadpool, him showing all the different timelines in his last movie, bringing back Hugh Jackman for Deadpool 3.
Yeah, it's 'cause he's been bloody hounding Hugh Jackman for about the last 10 years to try and make it happen. That's probably why Hugh just went, fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah. Ryan's not going to stop calling me. I might as well say yes.
Yeah.
How excited are you guys for this individually?
I'm mixed. Like I love it. I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but now it's just and the other side of me, which I'll just enjoy it anyway because it's a Deadpool movie. It's going to have Hugh Jackman. They're going to have fun. It's going to be funny. We know that because they're quite humorous individuals, especially together. I reckon they would be too. But just the whole fact of, I know it probably doesn't matter, but what are we doing with X-Men if we're going to bring back Wolverine? And I know it fits in the timeline, but obviously there's going to be multiverse. There's going to be, for the casual viewer, this is going to confuse them because eventually we're going to get a new Wolverine somewhere, surely, because Hugh Jackman can't do it for much longer. And technically, he does die later on. So I don't know. I'm excited. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited. But then the other bit of my brain is just going, well, how does this fit in? I want X-Men now. Yeah.
I saw a very interesting TikTok on the announcement of this the other day, and it was, if you look at Marvel's social media, there's no mention of this anywhere. So there's like a theory going around that Ryan Reynolds just went and announced it himself, just so that they had to make his version of the movie.
That I would not be surprised.
Well, I think between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, I think there'd be enough money to do it if they wanted to do it anyway.
100%. It's going to happen now. They've said it.
That was real. Wow.
I think even if nothing's been set in motion yet, just making that announcement will, just stir people up. And where is it? We want to see it.
Yeah. See, and that by Dane just there, that's kind of my point. Like, I want it to be rebooted. I don't want it to. Yeah. I want X-Men to be rebooted, and this sort of puts a bit of a spanner in the works, but they'll fix it. But this is what makes me doubt that they're going to fix it anytime soon.
If this was
First Class was supposed to be. First Class was supposed to be reboot, and they sort of did it justice and sort of didn't.
Oh, I thought it was amazing. The first two
First
of them.
Class was, yeah.
There was obviously Apocalypse was a pile of trash. And what's the other one? There's Days of Future Past, First Class, Dark Phoenix. That's it. Because Days of Future Past was pretty good.
Yeah, it gradually got worse, didn't it, though? Because was Apocalypse the third one? Yeah, it gradually just...
And I remember being so pumped for the Apocalypse movie when it was coming.
Yeah,
it was such a disappointment.
Progressively less Mystique makeup as well.
Yeah,
was that right?
progressively less Mystique makeup as well every movie.
Yeah, yeah. You know, that's one thing that I get really annoyed with Hollywood, I even just read an article this morning, I think, when they said, why didn't you make Gore look like Gore in the comics? And Kevin Feige's like, because then you would have lost the actor, Christian Bale. You would have lost Christian Bale's face in the prosthetics and the makeup, where we think the way we did it, it's still, you know, so they care more about showing the actor's face than the way it should look. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I get the point, but screw that, man. I wanted freaking no-nose, long horn freaking Gore.
Yeah, agreed. So, but what are your thoughts, Bo, on Jackman coming back?
Look, I'm of two minds about it. One, I mean, yeah, hell yeah, I want to see it. It's going to be great. It's going to be funny. But like Dane and you have said, I am dying to see MCU X-Men. The things that I'm looking forward to the most, which a lot of people are, I guess, is new Fantastic Four, new Doctor Doom, new X-Men, freaking Namor. I want to see all of these characters that haven't been in the MCU yet. And I can't wait to see them. So, yeah, I mean, I think after Spider-Man, No Way Home, I think it's very easy to have multiple versions of characters now, and it's not going to confuse that, you know, badly. I think it's pretty easy to do. You know, for all we know, they do a Deadpool Wolverine movie, and this is how they introduce a new Wolverine, because a portal opens up and freaking Wolverine comes through, and it's another, you know, the scripts are endless. The possibilities are endless.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
kind of wish they just had Hugh Jackman play Hugh Jackman in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, and that's it. That's another point that Dane brought up, just that last bit there. So with Hugh Jackman coming back in, does that mean that is canon? He's Wolverine? So this is what I mean. It pulls a ripple of confusion. Does that mean...
Well, no, it's Wolverine from a different universe, I'm assuming, not the MCU.
Well,
because remember, at the end of Deadpool 2, he had that teleporter.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah,
So
that's time travel, though, isn't it?
Was it time travel or was it universe?
That was time travel. That was time travel.
Yeah.
Because he
Right.
killed baby Hitler.
Yeah.
And he killed Ryan Reynolds.
Hmm.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Killed Green Lantern.
Yeah,
He killed Deadpool.
yeah.
I just hope they don't do the big hype up, and then it's just a small cameo in the movie.
Nah, they can't do that. They can't.
No, you play a big part in it. So, but yeah, as I said, it could be just exactly the same as, like you said, Bo, with Deadpool 2. It could just be just a joke. I mean, like, we know not to take the Deadpool 100% seriously because he breaks the fourth wall. I think we all know by now that just whatever goes in Deadpool, you don't have to put into canon.
I still loved the idea years ago people had when Stan Lee first passed away, and they're like, Deadpool should be the new guy that's like a cameo in every Marvel movie, just like in the background and, you know, doing something. You know, I thought that would have been pretty funny.
It would have been.
Yeah,
You just see him rock up in every movie.
In the background, or flashing a moon, or doing something.
Yeah.
Just getting
You
a
know,
cup of coffee and just going, ooh, what's going on here?
Then it could have been forever. Spot the Deadpool in the MCU movies.
It always has in my mind when I always think of Deadpool 2, when he's narrating that first bit, he goes, oh my God, that guy's on fire. Like he could do something like that and go, oh my God, that guy's on fire.
Just stick his head out the side of a wall and
Chimichangas.
Toasties.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat.
Speaking of that, did you see today it was Mortal Kombat 30th anniversary, 30 years of Mortal Kombat.
Wow.
Yeah, and they released a little video that had, you know, all the last 30 years, and they did it where, like, you know, they'd have like Raiden doing his classic move, but like through all the games, and Liu Kang and the and no, that's not a vulture turkey. Doing all of that stuff. You know, it actually looked really good. So
I'm not making any more bloody noises and stuff just in case Remy's in the chat. He has absolutely screwed that bloody noise of me doing that. He's clipped it and he's screwed it. He's always
I'm going to have to get him to send it to me so we can use it on this show.
Yeah.
It can be like a Tyler Sucks kind of thing for you.
And that's actually because Remy does his like hangout stream on our Sunday. And they're basically, that's exactly what somebody said. They said, oh, it's like the new Tyler Sucks thing or whatever like that.
All right, that is an hour. Is there anything else you guys want to yak about before we head off?
Not for me.
I have one thing. So I had a query because I've been reading, Ryan's lended me quite a bit of X-Men, so I started reading X-Men. It's not something I've dived into too much lately, or ever really. So I've sort of kept. Yeah, I'm more DC, but I'm slowly getting myself into it. And Ryan's given me a few X-Men stuff and Hickman stuff, and it can be confusing, but I won't go into that. But one thing I did notice, because I've seen him pop up in a few comics that I read, like Iron Fist and stuff, like Sabretooth. So now I have noticed through a lot of Sabretooth, like, and he's got his solo series that just finished as well. Like in Hickman's run, he's like a massive 7-foot, big bulky dude, and then in another book he's just normal sized, and then in his solo series he's biggish again, and like I don't know, it confuses me a bit, like the size of him. Like sometimes people draw him as this big giant beast of a, like looking like the beast of X-Men and stuff like that. Have you ever noticed this, or is it just me overthinking things?
His first appearance was in an Iron Fist book. It was Iron Fist 14.
Yeah,
was his first actual appearance, and the fight scene on the front cover, they actually look similar sizes.
That's what I'm thinking, because he rocked up in an Iron Fist book that I read, and he wasn't that bigger than, like, he looked like just a bit taller of a Logan. Like, and then you see him in this book, he's just massive in another book. And
it wasn't sort of, I'd like to say sort of late 80s, early 90s, that a lot of artists, probably one of the first ones I actually noticed was a small mini-series, I think in the early 90s. Mark Texeira did the art for it, and they made him look like big, longer fangs, and like his shoulder sort of fur was bigger, and he just looked physically more menacing. Yeah. So I think I'd say late 80s, early 90s, they started to change the scope of what physical size he was.
Yeah. So it's not just me, he's changing.
It has changed over time.
Which I don't mind. I just noticed it. I thought I'd bring it up. If it's just me, or has anyone else noticed?
No, I haven't actually. But I'll pay attention to it, because that Sabretooth mini I actually wanted to get and read, and his new one, because I'm a big Exiles fan. Sabretooth and the Exiles. So yeah, I'll have a look at that. I've always wondered how he gets away with calling his women frail, because it doesn't roll off the tongue very, very easily. Going out on a date, yo, you want to get a pizza, frail? It's just
doesn't fit in the sentence real well, does it?
No, not like, Mon Cher, like Gambit, or Bob, like Wolverine. Although I don't think he's calling the women that, but you get my point.
Well, I just noticed because Sabretooth's slowly becoming one of my favorite MCU villains. So it's just
right.
What era are you reading, Mark?
So Hickman's X-Men, and I read Ed Brisson's Iron Fist. He rocked up in that. Was another one.
That's early 2000s, isn't it?
No, that's the current one.
It's current, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were like reading some of the old school stuff.
No, not old school. And then his new solo series, which just finished as well. So
less confused, because X-Men and the like, even though I haven't read a lot of recent stuff, I know most people have jumped off a lot of X-Men recent stuff because it's so confusing.
Yeah.
I would assume that you probably would have gone back to like say a John Byrne run from like the 70s or something like that, because then it's a lot more linear and it's a lot less confusing.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what,
It's
Mark,
confusing.
if you actually really want to read more Sabretooth, it's I don't know, it's hard. I'm trying to put my sentence together because I'm being contradictory with what I'm about to say. But in this series called Exiles, it's this mock team of people from each character's from a different universe, and they all travel the multiverse to save worlds, right? Sabretooth in that is in it for a long time, and it's actually a good Sabretooth from the Age of Apocalypse.
Okay.
Actually, is it from the Age of Apocalypse? I think it is. Anyway, and it's a completely different take on Sabretooth, but it's really good. I really love that version of Sabretooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything more to add, Ryan, or you notice that too, or not?
Yeah, I've noticed it's just generally depending on the artist who's doing it and how they want to represent it.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I just thought I'd bring it up. I have it written down. I was going, want to just discuss it with you, see if you noticed. So, plus, I wanted to talk about Sabretooth. And All Star didn't have it, because the trade came out this week, and All Star didn't have it when we went there yesterday. I was like,
All right. I think Sharif. Yeah, you got up early today, didn't you, buddy? All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. This has been Aussieverse. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share the links, tell your mum, tell your neighbours. Go check out MadSpidey on his own channel. Go check out A51 Designs on the Instagram. If you do subscribe, what's coming up? It is a $100 Aussie Amazon gift card. We will catch you next time for Thursday when we have more videos coming at you. And also, don't forget, we are always proudly sponsored by the boys at Comx Studios. Catch you next week. Say goodbye, team.
Goodbye, team.
Aussieverse is always
for life.
This show is sponsored by the Comx Shop. Check out comx.cx for all things Comx and find out what Comx is all about. We hope you enjoyed the show.